Hello, we are back. Welcome back to the Hope Conference.
Yes.
I'm Kim White with the My Sexy Business team, and this is...
I am Dr. Cassandra Bradford Wilson with Genesis Preferred Solutions, and I'm here with the princess.
Woohoo! We are rocking this conference.
Man.
We have had some amazing speakers already.
We have. And we have an amazing speaker on deck right now waiting.
On deck.
On deck.
On deck. She doesn't know y'all can see her, but we love that. We love that we know she's being seen all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
The amazing author, speaker, Bible study rockin' leader, corporate trainer. I'm trying to go on and on because I'm thinking, how else do you describe a beautiful little songbird that's one of your besties?
Aww.
Other than Kristi Bridges. Woo-hoo!
I know how to whistle.
So I'm looking.
Welcome to Hope to Hope.
She should introduce you all the time, right? You're going to record.
No, I'm looking everywhere going, where is this amazing person?
It's right there.
You guys.
So sweet. I am so excited that you decided to join us. I know I always ask a lot because, you know, I am a princess. And I happen to be your princess friend. So you have a hard time telling me no when I call and say, please do this with me.
You
have come
motivate me to try new things.
That's a sweet way to put it.
My life would be adventureless if I didn't have you. I would just sit in the corner all day long, waiting for something exciting to happen.
Oh no, we know better than that.
I'm not buying them.
She's my little barefoot dancing ballerina prancing. I'm trying to think of all things. Songwriting, song singer. I mean, she's got it going on. And we have, you know, I don't know, Dr. Cassandra, if you know about our bucket list, mine and Kristi's.
No.
But when we hit 100, we're going to be those little old women that streak by everybody, and everybody goes, they must be cool, and we're going to be going,
God.
yes!
Oh, wait.
Well,
Clarify, not streaking. Streak by.
Oh, I thought you said yes.
I'm like, what's that song from? Okay, you guys. Oh yeah, they call them the street.
No, we we love our little old vintage cars, and we go to the vintage car show and drool over the convertibles and go, that's the one we're gonna have someday.
That's what you got to talk about, the hope for those vintage cars.
We took pictures by the one we picked out at the last car show we were at. That you know, we were talking about how cute we would look riding in it at 100. That we would have mermaid hair blowing and you know, just
the hair blowing machine again. Remember I talked about that, Kristi, was it last week?
You bet. I was trying to get her to go ahead and just pretend we're 100 and let's sneak one of those cars out of there, but yeah, we were a little too noticeable, I think, for people to let us sneak away.
I think noticeable is the right word, but a very kind word, because what we did was we kind of broke some rules. What happened was
you guys jumped in the car. What did you guys do? Just don't go past something like the Pope.
You're not supposed to be inside the ropes, but one of us didn't understand that we weren't supposed to be inside the ropes, and the other one of us was thinking, if we can get by with this, I'm good with it. Oh, oops, I didn't mean to tell which one.
No, that's guys, I am so embarrassed to say this, but I think I've locked my husband out. Can you give me half a second? Hang on one sec.
This is how we do it at the Hope to Hope conference. We lock our husbands out because we got something nothing to say. And then, you know, after we say it, we let them back in. It goes, all is well with my soul. So that's just how we roll at this conference. I'm telling you, we just ask for forgiveness.
I want you to know, Miss Tony's probably watching and thinking, good, it's not just him, right?
Honey, you know I didn't lock you on the corner. I had just forgot.
Those are the things that the men in your lives put up with. I'm a princess, so you know I'm not.
Well, I went out the back to check on him, and I said, I'm going to start video in just a few minutes. And he said, okay. And I came back in, and I don't know. I didn't think I twisted the lock, but apparently old habits die hard. Poor baby.
We should let her back in. That's what's more important here. You guys have mentioned what's important.
That's important. I let him back in.
Well, we always have a good time when we are together, and we always have a good time when we're even apart and on the phone or on video chat or whatever it is we're doing at the time.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to get really serious for a minute, because this conference is a huge deal to all of us, and it is about giving others hope in situations that they just feel hopeless. And you know, there is such power in telling our story and being vulnerable and letting other people know how we got through some things.
Yeah.
And I already talked to you, and I know this is not an easy thing, but I am so proud of you for some things that have been going on in your life. I really would like for you to start wherever it is you want to start, but you know what to tell, and I'm just excited. I want the whole world to hear how awesome you are.
Aw. Well, you know, it's funny. Things could be hard to tell, but if you know there's another side, if you know you come through and out back into the sunshine, that makes everything easier. So I don't mind sharing something if somebody else some hope that there is sunshine waiting at the end of this tunnel. We talked just for a second before this video. I mentioned to Cassandra exciting turn of events in my own life, but I'll start back at the beginning. I was born to a mom who was still in high school. I was a high school surprise for my parents. And as I was growing up, I always knew that. My mom never kept secrets from me. She just, you know, was honest and answered questions that I had. And so I learned that. And I told her when I was probably in 7th or 8th grade, oh, I'll never be that stupid. So I ended up about that same time, maybe 6th or 7th grade. I told her that, but I started thinking what would happen if that ever happened to me, if I were ever a teenage mom, because around that same time we had friends who couldn't have a child. And I watched as they were just wonderful. They were so romantic, and they treated me like I had brains. They played Scrabble with me and really nurtured me. And I thought, you know, if that ever did happen to me, if I were ever that stupid, then I'd want to give a baby to somebody who couldn't have one. And, you know, we can be stupid an awful lot in our lives, but we don't always have to pay for those things. God's timing is interesting because God will take our worst decisions and time things just right to where a blessing comes out of that. And I made lots of bad decisions as a teenager. And then one day I found out that I was going to have a baby. And I was still in high school. And we weren't in touch with that family anymore, but I remembered, you know, that those people who were just so lonely and had so much love to give. And I thought, you know, there's a family out there that has what my daughter needs and that wants the chance to raise a daughter. And so that didn't really make it easy. It made it hopeful. It made it something that I could do because I understood that there was pain people were going through and I could help. I understood that I wasn't at a place in my life where I could give her the best, and I wanted her to have the best. And I knew that I was going to make probably more mistakes, and I didn't want to give her a rocky life. And so I talked to an agency and picked out a family out of some of the bios that they had, and chose to give my daughter up for adoption. And tell you what, in Florida, they make you wait 90 days after the baby is born, because you have this 90-day period when you could say, just kidding, give her back. And they put the baby with a foster family for that 90 days because they don't want to break the parents' hearts any more than, it already will. I couldn't bring myself to do that to someone. That was the hardest 90 days I think I've ever lived through. Thinking of pushing her on the swing set and taking her to her first grade, first day of school, and taking her to her 8th grade prom, and, teaching her to be better than me. And it was a tough 90 days. And then, to be the one walking around in school with the giant belly, when I was growing up, that was a little more common. When my mom was growing up, they wouldn't even let her stay in school. They shipped her off to a girls' home, Salvation Army girls' home, because teenage girls weren't allowed to go to school with other kids if they had made that mistake. So when I was, in high school, it was a little more common, but it was still, everybody knows you can't hide. You can't hide. And, but the day that I left the hospital, I got to hold her in my arms and dress her in a dress that I had worn as a baby. And my grandfather came to the hospital, and he laid his hands on her and he prayed for her that God would protect her and that he would raise her up to be wise and to be happy. When I was first discovered I was pregnant, I'm going back a little bit, but when I first discovered I was pregnant, I cried for a couple months. And then one day I stopped because I wanted her to be happy. I didn't want to have a sad baby. And when my grandpa came to the hospital, as we were saying goodbye to her, he prayed for her that she would be happy. And years later, I was still thinking about her. I watched my stepkids grow up, and they were a year on either side of her. My stepdaughter, my oldest stepdaughter, is almost a year older, and my stepson is almost a year younger. They're right. And I saw, they weren't like me or like I figured my daughter would be, but they were really fun at the different ages, 10, 11, 14. And every time one of them had a birthday, I'd think about her. And of course, every time her birthday came by, I'd say a prayer and think about her. Thought about her a lot more than that, but, And then anyway, getting all like emotional. But here's the sunshine. Here's the tunnel. When she was in her 20s, when she turned 21, I had the right to contact the adoption agency and try to find her. Turns out I probably wouldn't have had much luck at that point because of issues with the family she was with. But I wasn't in a place where I was proud of myself at that time. I was in a place where I was not yet who I wanted to be, and I wanted her to have somebody to be proud of. So I didn't look her up. I waited. And when she was a little older, around 24, I tried to find her through some of the free services that are online, and we didn't have any luck. Although it's amazing how much information they have access. Met some neat people, but we didn't find her that way. And at that point, I didn't go straight to the adoption agency. There was just something in me that, that kept me back from that. I still wasn't where I wanted to be. And then last year, she's 28. And I was telling a friend of mine, my daughter's 28, and I haven't found her. And I always have a project going on. I always have something happening in my life. And at that point, I was starting a book series. I published my first book. The first book in the series. I published a couple books before, but I published my first book in the series, and I was really ramping up. We'd done a conference and different things, and I thought, I had a job that had me traveling a lot and working a lot of hours. And I thought, I don't want to just say, oh my goodness, I'm so glad to meet you. Bye. I wanted to have time when we met, because I knew that I would want to be there for her. And my friend prayed for me that night. Before we were done, we were sitting at TGI Fridays, and before the night got very far, she just reached out and took my hand, and she prayed. And she said, Lord, in your timing, we ask that these two would find each other. And she said, Kristi, you'll have the time. When you meet your daughter, everything else is going to just have to wait, because you'll spend that time. And that was my friend Jennifer that I'd actually put on the conference with. And she wasn't going, no, do more conferences. She was saying, hey, take this time. And I called my mom, a couple days later, 3 days later, her father found me on Facebook. He said, I never go on Facebook, but I'm sitting here at work on a Monday morning, and I thought, I wonder if Kristi's online. And when he saw the videos that I do each day, I do a video called 1 Minute Wiser, Monday through Friday. He saw my videos and went, that's her. I can tell by the way she talks. And it's been, 28 years. I'm not the, little girl that I was back then. And, but he knew who I was. And I was like, wow, this has to be an answer to prayer. And I called my mom, and she said, oh, my friends and I were just praying about this a couple days ago. And sweet. She's always been so graceful with me. She doesn't want to push me into decisions that she would make. She's always shared wisdom with me, but when I make my decisions, she just stands by them and goes, okay, how can I help? But she told me when I had this conversation with her, she said, excuse me. I've been through this story a few times. You'd think I wouldn't cry. But she said, the day that you left the hospital, I went to the nursery. Excuse me. She said, I went to the nursery to hold her one more time, and they wouldn't let me because I wasn't her mother. And she told the nurse, I may never see her again. Excuse me. And the nurse went ahead and let her in so she could hold her one more time. And her name in the hospital, on the bed, it had a little name card. It said, Baby Valentine, because she was a gift for someone, a gift of love. So that was something Mom had never told me until I told her that I was going to find my daughter, because she didn't want me to feel bad. She's a good mom. So anyway, blubber, blubber. The good news is I called my mom and I said I was praying, with my friend, and she said, well, we were praying too. And then I told her, about Chris, or her dad finding me online. And we started the process. And you know what happens is God's timing is never wrong. She had put herself on the registry 3 weeks before that, so that she would be able to be found. And our first letters to each other were me going, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And then she wrote back and she says, I'm running around the house, flailing my arms, squealing. I'm like, oh, we're so much alike. And we are. Oh, she's anyway, what were you going to say?
No, we're listening. It's like, oh my God, I'm with you. Okay.
I want to say this because I know you, and I know how amazing you are. She's proud of you, Kristi, because she got an amazing mama. It might have been like
why do you have to impress her? You're her mother. She's supposed to, she's just thinking about herself. She's not thinking about what you're like. She's thinking, gosh, I hope, she loves me. And she's right. When it comes down to those times, all we think about is ourselves. And I hope that that person loves me. I hope that that person accepts me. We worry so much about what the other people are thinking, and that's what they're thinking. I hope this person accepts me, and we get together and we can just and love and accept them. Then, we don't have to impress anybody, right?
That's right. And your mama is so wise. If we're watching Miss Joy, we say hi to you because you are amazing also. But I will tell you, I don't know anybody on the planet that wouldn't sign up to be yours, because you are such a cheerleader. It doesn't matter what you do or don't do, you cheer everybody on.
Rah, rah, Kristi.
Well, it really helps that she is stellar. I mean, seriously, I could never have created this child alone. God and her dad and me just somehow made a miraculous combination. She's awesome. And she's like, oh, Mom, I'm not that amazing. I'm like, yeah, right.
Sounds like I need to have a talk with her, too. I'm so proud of you because, the thing is most people let those kind of things keep them from living life and keep them from getting up and showing up for life. And I know you. I got inside information. You are a show up girl. Mm-hmm. And it makes me so proud of you to go through these things and still allow people in your life to speak things over you too. And Jen, I hope you're watching because you're awesome sauce as well.
She texted me that she's watching. She's in the Chicago airport.
Oh, hey Jen. Love you and miss you too because oh my goodness, you two are amazing together. But I'm proud of you for allowing yourself to be vulnerable, because here's the real deal. Mm-hmm. If you don't share those times when you have done something, and I can't sing your praises loud enough because, you did mess up. I mean, that's what we do. We have skin on and we make decisions based on what we know at the time, which is not usually enough to really be making decisions at all.
Yeah.
As a teenager. And things happen, that doesn't mean that we want all the teenagers to go do that, but that also doesn't mean that life doesn't happen and turn out beautiful even when we make those choices. And so I am thrilled that you all found each other, and I do want to point out the timing. You know, if you had searched for her when you really wanted to, you would have possibly thought that she didn't want to see you because she wasn't on the registry. And that wasn't the case at all. Because, you know, you're vulnerable in the fact that you're not sure if she wants to see you. She's vulnerable in the way that she's not sure you want to see her. And the whole time, y'all needed each other.
Well, you know, and I want to say, you mentioned that we needed each other. I want to say here's the thing. There's two things I want to say. One is we have to allow ourselves to feel. Don't be afraid of feeling, whether it's good or bad. You know, we, as a society, we want to feel happy. And we'll chemicalize ourselves as much as possible, you know, whatever it takes to feel happy, and so that we don't have to feel sad. But it's not a crime to feel both and to let yourself experience the whole experience of something. There was a time when I went to see her for the first time ever, went to see her, and there was a time about a week later that I just cried and cried one night. And I don't do that a lot, but I did. And I wrote in my journal just really bad poetry. Oh God, it was awful, but it got me started writing. But because I had to deal with the fact that even though I don't believe in living in regret, yes, I was feeling years of regret. I could have, you know, saved her from some heartache. Now, living with me, she probably would have had other heartache. But, you know, as a mom, you want to save her from what you can. I could have raised her. We could have spent years together instead of going all that time without each other. But I don't believe in living in regret for two reasons. One, you're going to get heartache one way or another. No matter how you grow up or where you grow up, there's going to be something you have to recover from in your 20s, because that makes us who we are as adults. But then two, I don't believe in living in regret because I need to have power. I need to have the power to do today something. And if I'm trying in futility to change yesterday, or rolling around in yesterday, a day that I can't change, then I am giving myself no power. I'm actually choosing to be powerless. And but we still have to feel those things. I still had to go through that whole night of feeling that, and occasionally that feeling of, oh, I wish I had been there, comes back, and that's just reality. But I'm so happy, and she's so forgiving. She's just so forgiving. She's so full of grace that is just amazing. She's pretty cool.
She's like you. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. I just, you know, I don't want to continue to dwell on the hard parts, but I just want to say I'm proud of you for sharing that part, because the other side of this coin is you have a program that you have faithfully done, and I mean faithfully. I gave Kristi some instructions that were easily taken for a minute and hard to do for long term. And she has faithfully followed those instructions. And I mean, again, I can't sing your praises loud enough, because your heart is now for those who are not walking in wisdom, to be enlightened to that, to change what their understanding is so that they can have a different life. Tell us about your 1 minute wiser and your wisdom is better than wishing.
All right. So last year, remember when I said that I wrote a book last year, the first of a series. It's going to be a series of monthly devotionals. And so the first book was Wisdom Better Than Wishing. And it came with a journal with it, so that people can, because, you know, we can deal with what's going on inside of us a lot better if we have some wisdom to draw from. If I try to deal with what's going on inside of me with only my own wisdom, well, shoot, that's gotten me so far, right? But if I deal with if I start to understand my own mind using God's word, the one who created me, then I have a world of possibilities, and I end up living happier. I live wiser. I live with more faith and confidence to where I can walk and not be going, oh gosh, is this going to be a mistake? Is this going to come back and hurt me? I can go, well, I'm just going to go forward because I know my ground is solid. And so that's what this is about. It's a 31-day devotional that walks through the book of Proverbs. There's one chapter of Proverbs each day, along with a topical discussion about one of the main topics in that chapter. And we just this week, this is perfect that we're doing the conference, because just this week, yesterday in fact, we launched the first online group study of this book. We got a private Facebook group where we're going to have videos twice a week, just a video that's about 6 or 7 minutes long that talks more deeply about one of the topics that the readers are discovering. And people can converse with each other about what God's showing them and what they're learning, and we can pray for each other, and it's pretty exciting so far. I'm also packaging that same thing for groups that want copies of the videos and the leader's guide so that they can show them in churches or places that aren't online. So that's going to be available all over the place. Right now, though, it's our very first, our second day. I'm so excited.
And you've got some pretty amazing people in that group.
We do. Oh, my goodness. At the conference, Cassandra's conference, the Run Women's Conference, by the way, if you guys haven't heard about this, where you been? I've met 4 ladies who've actually joined the group. So that's been really neat.
That's relational currency at working with collabpreneurs going together. See, I love it. I love it. Relational currency.
So tell me this, is it too late for them to get in this group? Will they have to wait for the next group, or?
Well, I don't think it's too late. They might want to catch up, or as I've told my readers, if you miss a day, there are 31 days in this book. There are 31 days in a month. So if you miss a day, just read that chapter the next month. So they might want to start with chapter 1 if they're joining today, just because it's pretty good foundation. But yes, if you want to, on the Facebook group, I have put the first 7 chapters of each of these books, the journal and the book, in a PDF form, so that if people are ordering their paperbacks on Amazon and waiting for those, they can go ahead and get started reading the PDF copies. And if someone just wants a digital copy completely, they're welcome to order just the PDF copy directly from me. So on my Facebook page, 1 Minute Wiser, so my Facebook page is 1 Minute Wiser, then they are welcome to contact me tonight and get started.
And is 1 the number 1, or is it O-N-E? Is it spelled out, or is it the number?
It is the number 1. Or if you're not a Facebook member, if you're not a Facebook member and you want I don't know how you'd be here. So that was a silly thing to say. I was going to say,
let me just
for home groups. If somebody wanted to do like a local community live group, I can provide the materials for that starting next month, actually.
Well, and if they order off, this is just a suggestion, but if they order their book off Amazon and they want the group, can they just take a picture of the receipt?
Yes.
And send it to you so that you can add them to the group now? Then that way they don't have to be behind.
The confirmation number of their order, and that'll be fine. I'll go ahead and add them to the group right away.
Okay, that's awesome. And I know you and I know what series, like what's coming in the series, and I'm telling you, people do not want to miss out on knowing Kristi Bridges. If you are on this broadcast and you don't know her, you need to connect to her now because at some point she won't have time for all of us probably.
Little people.
Us little people.
I will always have time
Well,
for my mentor.
but if you are interested in living a more peaceful life with more wisdom and you want to figure out some things and you're not wanting to figure it out all alone, this group is perfect for you to get in with Kristi. Yes. And you've already heard how powerful her story is, so you already know what she's packing in that punch. That little bitty punch. You said something about she was all grown up, and I'm thinking that was 2 inches taller than when she was talking about before. She's a little ball of dynamite is what she really is. And so if you are interested in doing that, send her your confirmation number. Take advantage of this time to have access to her. Are you going to be able to join us at 7 Central Time?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Kristi?
I am looking forward to that.
Okay, if you can get a link ready, or like your Facebook link to get on there, or whatever it is you want them to connect with you on, get that ready for that because we're going to have all the speakers from this week.
Yes.
Everybody's going to have kind of access to you all to ask you questions and just be prepared.
Okay.
I cannot thank you enough for being vulnerable and for doing what you do because you bless everybody you come into contact with.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. You guys are an inspiration. And you get me doing some of the most fun stuff. I've really enjoyed this.
We are fun.
We're fun. I'm hanging with the princess, so I'm fun too.
Right.
Doggone it, I'm fun.
We get into all kinds of troubles what we do. But we love you, Kristi, and we thank you. And Roz is over here saying hi.
And
And
Troy.
Troy.
Hi. So, we got a whole group over here, girl.
I like it.
The whole audience is hi.
Yes.
But we love you, and we will see you at 7. If you're watching this broadcast, just a reminder that we'll be back on at 7 Central Time.
Yes.
Dr. Cassandra's my keeper this week and making sure I say the right things, or sort of. But at 7, we hope that all the speakers are going to come back on and join us and be a part of the question and answers, and you guys can come and tell us what's on your mind. Come in and don't like dismiss the fact that you have access to amazing people.
Yes. And we're going to be connecting the dots. You know me, Kristi. I'm into collabpreneurs. And so now we get to get us all together and figure out how we can do something together. Yeah. Right? Laugh together. I'm with the princess. Who would thunk it, right?
All right.
We'll see everybody at 7 Central Time. This is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team.
And I'm Cassandra Bradford Wilson with Genesis Preferred Solutions.
And this is the Hope to Hope Conference.
Yes.
See you all in a little bit.
Bye. Bye, Kristi.
Bye.